Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the one, the only, the leader of the Ten Commandments himself, Meliodas. Let's get right into it. Now, while the majority of Meliodas' childhood is unknown, I'll tell you what little we do know. Meliodas as a child was trained by Chandler and later became the leader of the Ten Commandments, bestowed with the commandment of love, and regarded as the most likely to succeed the Demon King due to his incredible strength. His reputation led him to be the most greatly feared demon, with even the four archangels fearing his strength, or certainly acknowledging it. His power stood only second to the Demon King himself, and at some point Meliodas fought even the mightiest of the four archangels, Mael, and proceeded to force Mael to retreat, which is again goes to solidify his incredible strength. Later, Meliodas met a young chap by the name of Merlin. I think you'd recognize her. And he protected her from the wizards of her birthplace. Meliodas frequently took care of the child, treating her more like a younger sister than anything else, which is why he never requited her feelings of love and the fact that she was a child. But nonetheless, upon meeting and falling in love with the goddess Elizabeth, the timeline for which is relatively unknown, Elizabeth being the daughter of the supreme deity, the leader of the goddess clan. Meliodas chose Elizabeth over his own clan, abandoning his title as the leader of the Ten Commandments, as well as his commandment itself, betraying his clan. Meliodas finally flees from the demon realm after killing two of the Ten Commandments, Aranak and Zeno. Now, due to the power imbalance caused by one of the strongest demons leaving the demon clan, a holy war was triggered, in which the demon clan fought against the goddess clan, the giants, the fairies, and the humans, and Elizabeth and Meliodas decided to help their new allies, the goddess clan. And at some point, Meliodas also fought Zeldris, with the outcome of it being unknown. However, it can be assumed with relative certainty that Meliodas won that, because Meliodas is certainly stronger than his brother. During the last days of the war, the Demon King and the Supreme Deity decided to put their rivalry aside and decided that they needed to punish their children. And so the Supreme Deity cursed Meliodas, with immortality being his punishment, reviving him every time he died in exchange for his emotions being consumed more and more until he became the bloodthirsty demon that he once was. And the Demon King cursed Elizabeth with perpetual reincarnation. That is a difficult phrase to say quickly, forcing her to live human lives in a way that she would always reunite with Meliodas right before her death, and then die right in front of him over and over and over. And while not knowing why he survived unscathed from his battle, he saw Elizabeth die and cried out as he helped her corpse. Now, with the war being over, he wandered a shattered Britannia, and eventually coming across a human girl from a savage tribe who looked exactly like Elizabeth, minus the wings. And although she didn't remember it, Meliodas became very close with the girl, and the day she regained her powers from her previous life, when Meliodas told her about it, the girl recovered all of her memories. Soon, though, Meliodas learned of the curses that were being placed under them, because Elizabeth, for whatever reason, remembered the curses, and the curse is that as soon as she remembers her memories, within 3 days, she will die. Now let's skip, give or take 3,000 years, and go back to 27 years ago. Now this cycle of Elizabeth dying and Meliodas meeting her again and again continued for almost 3,000 years, until he was employed into the service of the Holy Knights of the Kingdom, Danafor. Therefore, he had a brief encounter with Merlin, hoping she could give him a way to break the curse. However, when she suggests that releasing the Ten Commandments to use the power that Zeldris borrowed from the Demon King, Meliodas refuses to know the danger that he would represent, and that Zeldris would never agree to help him because Zeldris is a dick. It was in Danafor that Meliodas eventually met a slave girl named Liz from the enemy kingdom of Danafor, a kingdom whose name we were not given, so I don't know where I was going with that sentence, who was the reincarnation of Elizabeth. Again, as I'm sure you should have gotten that from the name itself. And subsequently sentenced to death, Meliodas sets her free and personally offered to fight on behalf of her if anyone objected, and no one did, because you would be insane to fight him. And he later took Elizabeth to his house, where they lived together, and they lived a relatively happy life. Liz, while reluctant, grew closer and closer to him because she was a slave, and so she was reluctant to trust people. However, them being soulmates and whatnot, they grew close and they became lovers, with him calling her the most important person to him. However, Frodrin managed to escape his sealing from after the people of Danafor broke the seal unknowingly, and he eventually attacked Danafor, nearly destroying it in his attempt to open the coffin of eternal darkness. Frodrin murdered Liz right in front of Meliodas, and which left Meliodas in an incredible rage after apologizing for Liz for not being able to save her. But Liz told her that they would meet again and to not forget what they had fought for. After seeing Liz's death, Meliodas fell into this fit of rage and just wiped Danafor off the face of the planet and critically injured Frodrin, leaving him on the brink of death and just scaring the shit out of anyone that ever went near to Danafor again. I should have the photo of Danafor up in front of you right now to put into perspective what the shit he just did. After this, Meliodas found the dragon handle and a baby that had reincarnated as Liz, although I don't know how a baby was born in the middle of bloody nothingness with no one being alive there, but whatever, I won't. Magic curses, I assume. The couple is discovered by the great holy knight Zaratraz, who attempts to help them. However, Meliodas warns him not to touch his woman, even though this woman was like a 3-second-old baby, but whatever. When the baby Elizabeth was adopted by the king of Leonis, Bartra, Meliodas requests to become a holy knight of Leonis to stay close and protect Elizabeth, convincing Zaratraz by beating the shit out of him in a sword fight with like no effort, but whatever. At some point, Bartra had a premonition of the creation of the 7 deadly sins, and therefore using the prophecy as a guide, Merlin appears, revealing that she had already found members of the 7 deadly sins, including Meliodas and herself. Meliodas decides to reunite all of them to defeat the 10 Commandments if the goddess clan's seal was ever broken, which of course it was, because otherwise this wouldn't be much fun. At some point, Meliodas, intending on recruiting Bon, I'm sure you've seen the video 1,000 times, comes to his cell and beats the crap out of him, so he joins because Bon is a sucker for a good fight. And yeah, Meliodas also recruits King after he was arrested for false crimes, telling him he is a wonderful king for sacrificing himself for his people. And then let's jump ahead, give or take a year or so. When the 7 deadly sins were not completely formed yet, Meliodas finds Diane being bothered by a group of knights called the Knight of the Golden Wheats. Yes, you heard that correctly. And he arrives, beats the crap out of one of them. The knights run away. Diane falls madly in love with Meliodas and decides to join the 7 deadly sins. Jesus, I had a stroke right there. After Diane got arrested by the Holy Knights, Meliodas frees her by the order of King Bartra. Gother was also recruited into the 7 deadly sins at some point. However, the details or anything really about his recruitment was never really shown. Meliodas and Merlin also find Escanor and convince him to become the final member of the 7 deadly sins because they need someone hella strong to beat people up, and that's exactly what he did. Meliodas made sure that Leonis exculpated Escanor for terrorizing villages, hurting the Holy Knights, and disrespecting King Bartra, which I think he had a right to because, I mean, except for Meliodas, there is no one who could fight him, with the exception of the Demon Clan, who are currently sealed away, but whatever. With this, the formation of the 7 deadly sins was complete, with the sins becoming the highest order of the knights in the kingdom of Leonis, answering directly to the king himself, and also to the great holy knight Zaratraz, with the great holy knight being their only superior besides the king himself. After the formation of the 7 deadly sins, Meliodas and his team participated in several missions until, let's jump ahead another 3 years. Okay, Meliodas and the 7 deadly sins head out from the kingdom to stop them from spreading further. However, Meliodas soon orders Diane, King, and Gother to go ahead while he and Merlin join the fight. The 7 deadly sins were completely surprised by Meliodas' decision to bring Escanor in. Okay, the fight. What I'm referring to is the fight at Edinburgh with the vampires, with the vampire Isrov, I believe is his name. The video of Escanor versus Isrov should be like 3 or 4 videos down on my channel. Absolutely incredible fight, really worth watching. It's just incredible. Okay, and then let's see. Okay, Meliodas often trained young Gilthunder, the son of Holy Knight Zartraz. And so, he taught him the way of the Knight Creed, which I believe was something along the lines of, I am now more stronger than any of the 7 deadly sins, which is what he told himself to say when he was feeling scared, to give him words of courage. However, and then the 7 deadly sins were, pardon me, I don't know what is going on. They were framed for killing the Holy Knight Zartraz, which they hadn't done, and so what they decided to do was to run away and simply not accept anything. They were surrounded by by the Holy Knights, which obviously did nothing in front of the 7 deadly sins, because yes. So all of them really just stood there and got their ass beat, while the 7 deadly sins spread around the kingdom and really just laid waste to everything and really just stood around and did nothing. Meliodas formed his tavern. Escanor formed his tavern. The rest of them were really just flying about doing nothing much. Yeah. And then he was found by a young Elizabeth, which is where our story takes off from. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. This really shouldn't contain much of his abilities, but I suppose I'll give you a few things. He is the captain of the 7 deadly sins and the strongest member of the demon clan, meaning he has some incredible brute strength. He also has his incredible magical ability, full counter, which makes him invulnerable to all magic attacks, as he can repel them with double the strength that they were put in. He also has his sacred treasure, Lost Vein, which allows him to create 5 clones of himself, although it may be 4. I can't find the number off the top of my head, but I think it's 4. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's 4 clones of himself, all of which can do all the things that he can, meaning they each individually can use full counter, which is how they defeated that giant demon, the name of whom escapes me at the moment. He also has an assault mode when he reaches his demon strength, when he rather regains his demon strength later on, and he can use that to fight even Escanor as the One, and almost won. He almost essentially won. Escanor won because, well, Escanor is a good guy and we needed Escanor to win, and so they decided, you know what, Escanor's gonna win, and that's exactly what happened, boys. Well, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll catch you all on the flip side.